Could you imagine if this is completely a left turn, but could you imagine if like sending nudes were a thing back then?
Oh man. I mean, they kind of were. Just it was like film.
That would have been wild.
Yeah, like literally.
I'm saying like
birthday.
online where they're doing like the pen pal thing.
Oh right. Yeah. Like letters back and forth.
Take that.
Oh yeah, no, they was definitely they was.
You got mail.
Yeah, no. Or even back in the day, even back in the day when they were sending them bitches in
the
prison.
dial-up is taking way longer to download this picture. I don't know what it is.
AOL's taking a long time tonight. I don't know what's going on. Oh, Peter.
All right, welcome back to another episode of What We Watching. We are switching it up again today. We are talking about our first romantic comedy.
Rom-com.
The subject, one of Gabe's faves. I mean, I don't know. I like all movies.
Yeah, I enjoy rom-coms.
But rom-coms are up there for me too. Probably more than the, I guess, average watch. Like, people are like, oh, you watched that movie? And like, yeah, it was a good movie.
It's like it's funny because it's in my top 2, like favorite.
Oh, genres?
Yeah, so I go from like as
Killing
violent,
to laughing, loving.
Right.
It's called balance, guys. It's called balance.
Perfect, or what do you like? Storybook ending at the end, or whatever. But yeah, so today we will be talking about the movie You've Got Mail, Tom Hanks, and I don't know the other actress's name. It's just slipped my mind right now.
Meg Ryan.
Yes.
Yeah. When you mention Tom Hanks, you have the great
Tom
Hanks, the GOAT.
Put some respect on his name.
You know,
I almost referenced another character, but I would have had to say pause after it. But yeah, Tom Hanks. I was gonna say
Tom
also known as
Hanks.
Woody.
Also known as Woody.
Woody himself.
Bro, his catalog of the characters that he's
Forrest
played
Gump.
in the movies that he's cast away, Forrest Gump, Woody, Captain Phillips, Sully.
Yeah.
It's
crazy.
All of them, yeah.
It's crazy.
There's also a show on Netflix called The Movies We Grew Up On or something like that.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty
and it
interesting.
had like Home Alone and
Home
like
Alone
E.T.
was really good.
Yeah,
I mean, they're all really good.
Yeah.
I didn't watch E.T. I probably should.
Yeah, I didn't finish Home Alone. I had just seen it and I watched a little bit of that one. And I was
Home
like,
Alone was hilarious, and they talked about how they got Joe Pesci and how Joe Pesci was on like screen or like on not screen or TV, but how he was to work with, being in like a kids movie,
right?
And then they do Back to the Future, which was good, and Forrest Gump, which was really good too, because like
they play the movie or they analyze.
No, they talk about like
the history of the movie,
what it was like shooting it, how it got
created.
funded, where like
and where's this at?
Netflix. Yeah.
So it's just like probably like the top, like I guess for movies from like late 80s and 90s, like those are the movies we grew up on, I think, or the movies that made us, I think is what it's called.
Yeah,
that's lit.
Yeah, and Forrest Gump's
Park
story
too.
is kind of wild and hilarious. The way like it came about and how many people didn't believe in it, or like it like got passed around and stuff, and then it became top 3 grossing movies of all time. Anyway,
but that just made me think of a random question, and we could probably ask to the audience too, but I'm going to ask you guys, and I'm thinking about it, and it's on the spot. Does Tom Hanks have the best catalog of any actor? And what I mean, I'm not saying that he's a better actor,
right?
But the roles that he's played, the characters that he's played, the films that he's played in, that he's acted in, who has a better catalog than Tom Hanks?
He doesn't have really a bad movie.
He doesn't really have a bad movie.
So like, just if you take the highest of the high and the lowest of the low for Tom Hanks and knock him out, it's still going to be very similar to if you had those in there.
Yeah.
Like there's not a lot of deviation if we're talking statistics.
Damn, that's a good
point. You have like Denzel, where like he did well, but there's a Manchurian Candidate that we reviewed.
And but even those, right? You could say like, I'll give you an example. Training Day, right? Denzel made Training Day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? His performance made Training Day. If he wasn't in it, I don't think we would be revering it as that quality of a film. But so you have, and of course he's given some stellar performances, but when you talk about the impact of like the roles that Tom Hanks has played, like let's say Denzel as Malcolm X, like that's a big time role. That's an impactful role. But then you can go Forrest Gump. But then you got like Castaway, where he's in the film with a volleyball the whole movie.
Right.
It's just him.
And a bloody volleyball.
Yeah.
In a blood. So you get what I'm saying? Like he
and some FedEx packages.
Right.
Who
like,
has a better catalog?
Low-key, like Castaway is kind of.
If there was a versus battle, who could beat Tom Hanks movie for movie?
I mean, really, I can only really see Denzel. Like, I feel like they are two sides of the same coin in a lot of ways.
I would say maybe Leo because he also is not in any bad movies. Like he's always like the movies he's in is always perfectly picked and like he has some good supporting, like really strong supporting.
Yes,
Leo's a good one.
I would say a lot of his really good movies, he's not the main character.
Yeah, that's true too. That's true too.
That's the other thing too. Like I'm thinking about other people.
If you're talking about the movies in their catalog or catalog of performances, because if it's movies in a catalog,
but that's what. So
because in verses you have features,
right? So I'll give you like how we were saying like the Manchurian Candidate was a Denzel movie. Like Denzel was in it, but do we really consider it a Denzel movie, right?
Yeah.
So like when you're watching these movies, do we consider Django a Leo movie? Or is it a Jamie Foxx movie?
Yeah.
Or is it a Tarantino movie? Like when you hear the movie, do you think of that person? Mm-hmm. In all of these films, Castaway, Tom Hanks movie. Forrest Gump, Tom Hanks movie. Sully, Tom Hanks movie. All these movies are considered Tom Hanks movies because he's the main focal point and he's clearly crushing these performances. Right?
But
with Leo, this isn't taking anything away from him, but some of his like his stellar stuff is him being like a supporting, you know what I'm saying? A supporting, like even Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Brad Pitt is more the main,
or just as much.
Yeah, or just as, you know what I'm saying? Leo kills it, but you don't think of that as a Leo movie.
Yeah. I would still even say I think Brad Pitt was better in it, but he's just had the better character, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if it's better, but.
And that's because I would say, like, you could say, I mean, Sam L is in everything, so you could put his movies up against his, but then when you think about it, it's like, all right, well,
which
what was
his
actually
role
in this, you know what I'm saying, this movie? When you think of these Tom Hanks movies, you would consider them to be a Tom Hanks movie.
Yeah. I mean, there's some Tom Hanks movies where like I wouldn't necessarily consider it to be a Tom, like Philadelphia, like he was in it.
Yeah, see,
like
but
you've got Mail we're gonna talk about today.
Yeah,
he was in it, but I wouldn't say like Tom Hanks movie.
It's a Tom Hanks movie, right.
He has some of those too.
But I wouldn't even put those in his top 10.
Okay,
yeah,
but so I mean that's what like it depends on what you like. We can go through top 10 of Leo where it was him, and I think that he would still have a strong chance, or even like Denzel, especially for picking 10.
Yeah, if it's
but
10,
if we're okay, so if we're picking 10, right?
For picking 10, I got Sam Jack too, even though he doesn't have any.
But okay, so now this is what I mean. They're gonna have movies, but when you compare them to Tom Hanks's 10,
I don't know. I think taking 10 makes it more of an even playing field. If you go to 20, if you go to 25, because like I think if you take Denzel's top 10 and Tom Hanks' top 10, their average score is going to be similar. If you do that with like Sam, because Sam's been in a ton of stuff, if you take his average of his top 10, their score is going to be similar. But as like the tail of the getting super mathy or whatever, but as the tail goes off,
if you take the circumference of the film,
but I think it also goes by the parameters, like how you were saying, like versus they do features and stuff like that, right? Because if you take this person's 10, because if you do features, you can go into movies like that. But when I see The Green Mile, I think of Michael Clark Duncan, rest in peace.
Right.
I think that is more his movie than a Tom Hanks movie. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So if we're gonna analyze the 10 and say these are 10 Tom Hanks movies,
right,
and these are 10,
you got to set the rules. Then.
Yeah, these are 10 Denzel movies, or these are 10 like Sam Jack's movies. Because like you could put Django in there, and he kills his performance in Django, but that's clearly not a Sam Jack movie.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, when you think of people and their quote unquote movies, like how we said like Will Smith movies, like these are movies where you think you hear them and you're like, this is a Will Smith movie. When you think of those for Tom Hanks, I don't think there's another person who you can compare to his catalog. His roles have been ridiculous.
All right.
Yeah. No, I mean it's a good point. But I don't know.
That's what I said. It's tough to do off the top of your head.
Because there's some like Captain Phillips was really good and Sully was really good, but it's like he was just the catalyst for the story.
Mm-hmm.
Like the story was really good, and they just had Tom Hanks in it, and he killed his role. And yes, it's a Tom Hanks movie, but like I don't know, it doesn't. Some of his stuff, like as he's acting 10 out of 10, but it just doesn't hit as hard to me.
Yeah, some people you can analyze that with other movies though.
Yeah.
You can so like, and we probably wouldn't put some of these in his top 10. The story of Malcolm X is going to be entertaining no matter who plays Malcolm X.
Yeah.
Denzel kills it, but it's still Malcolm X.
Yeah.
John Q, that story is going to be entertaining no matter who plays John Q.
That was based on a true story too?
I don't know. But the story of, a man wanting to save his kid from that story is that's what makes a good film, is a good story. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So if you go based off of that, I mean, my point I'm trying to make is that he selects the films that he chooses to play in.
Yeah.
He has impeccable selections as
he
far
also
as
has
like
his pick of the litter too. So it's kind of like, yeah.
well, for good reason.
He's earned it.
Yeah, for good reason.
All right.
So yeah.
I'm trying to think. I don't know that there's anybody who could compare to his catalog in that regard. Like, of course, they've been in good movies. They have tons of great films, and I'm not even saying that he's a better actor than some of these people. But as far as his catalog, and obviously, like, there's some unfairness to it as far as like options,
right?
Like opportunities and options that's available, especially like when you start thinking about actresses. Clearly, there's gonna be, but as a whole,
disparity, yeah. But this is not like a wild take or a wild card, but I think top 10 movies. If you just do someone's 10 movies, I think Jake Gyllenhaal has a strong 10 catalog too.
Jake, he
doesn't have the popular movies,
right?
But all the indie movies that he's in, he absolutely kills it, and the story is amazing. Like, I mean, End of Watch, super lit.
Yeah,
I think that's
End of Watch is wild.
Nightcrawler, crazy.
Nightcrawler, amazing.
That's a him movie.
Yeah.
What was that one we watched with the spider in Canada?
Enemy.
That one was really good too. He kills it. He plays two different people. I don't have any more on top of my head.
Was he the one that with the one we watch? I can't remember if it was his character. The one we watched where the guy falls in love with AI.
AI.
We just watched it in movie
that was
Joaquin Southpaw.
Okay. Southpaw is solid, but
many would say
it's not gonna.
It's not a Tom Hanks movie, but still, like,
it's not, I'm just saying,
I'm kind of going through here.
Brokeback
Mountain. Brokeback Mountain was a moment. I mean, I
don't think he has enough.
But
Jarhead, he's in Jarhead.
Donnie Darko.
Bro,
it's like he's got some moments. I feel like Gyllenhaal, he's one of those guys who, like, he didn't
obviously, like, he's not Tom Hanks. He is not Tom Hanks movies.
Yeah, no, he's
but I'm saying when you're taking
Hanks.
just someone's 10 best, like, if we both take like 10 threes, right, in basketball, it'd be like we give our best, or we have our best 10 highlights. Like, they're gonna be. Their average score is probably more comparable than if you open up to like 20 or something.
Bro, yes and no.
Because
I still think that the impact of his movies and his performances in those movies together are far superior to the
impact of them. Okay, if you're talking about impact, also
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
His selection of roles, like, okay. I'll start with the ones that I've mentioned.
Films that like killed it in box office.
I'll start with the ones we've named: Forrest Gump, Castaway, Captain Phillips, Sully. Right? Mm-hmm. We'll start with those. Now I'll go into a few that we haven't named: Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
See, like, that one was good, but I'm just like, it's okay. Like, some of his movies are like okay to me.
Saving Private Ryan literally changed the scope of how people shoot war movies. People they started shooting war movies completely different now because of Saving Private Ryan. Yeah. Here's one that I would say to me is just okay, but was revered. Angels and Demons.
Oh yeah, Angels and Demons.
It was okay to me. It was okay. Okay, then we're going
It's like
to
a classic, like FX Saturday afternoon.
Apollo 13.
Yeah.
It gets 13. Yeah.
It starts getting ridiculous.
And if you ask the right person, I mean, even a lot of more recent stuff as well. I mean, Saving Mr. Banks, Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. I mean, he's like continuously, he's so consistent with the performances. Even sometimes if the movie isn't as, sometimes, he's not necessarily making the box office smash. But like when you sit and watch his performances, you'd be like, damn, like there he goes again. Like just he's one of those guys again.
It might just be because like he's so good that it's just like, all right, I've come to expect this.
Right.
It might be for sure.
And he just makes you believe like he's in that tier with Jamie Foxx and Sam and Denzel, where it's like I completely believe the story that's being told right now because of this performance.
And I know you guys probably haven't seen the one that came out last year. This was a super good performance and a good movie, News of the World.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
So it's super lit, but I wouldn't put that as like a super duper impactful movie but when you think of like the impact of Sully, Castaway, Saving Private Ryan, Forrest Gump, Captain Phillips.
Yeah.
If you think about those,
even recently, The Post with Meryl Streep.
Yeah. If you think about the impact of those movies, and then you look at other people, and you'll say like, oh, they had an incredible performance in that movie, but the movie as a whole does not have the same impact as these. Like, I think we'll all say Jake Gyllenhaal's best performance is probably Nightcrawler.
Yeah, probably.
And the Nightcrawler is stupid good, like a crazy good movie, but it's not even a seat at the table next to Forrest Gump.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
You see what I'm saying? Like that's what I said. Like his catalog is kind of it's damn near Tom Brady-ish.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, he's got a lot of bangers. I mean, in terms of performances, again, like he's got a lot, and of course, I mean, obviously, Jake Gyllenhaal is going to have a lot more time to build on top of his catalog. But yeah, I mean, Tom Hanks been doing this since like 85 or something. And he's just been knocking them out ever since.
But my point with bringing him up is like obviously he's not someone that everyone reveres as like Tom Hanks for those top tier, but like Nightcrawler is still a 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
Facts.
Like there's a bunch of movies he has that are like 10 out of 10s.
Facts.
Yeah.
So that's what I was saying. Like if you're giving Forrest Gump a 10 out of 10, you're also giving Nightcrawler a 10 out of 10. They kind of wash unless you bring the other stuff into it.
Yes and no.
Yeah.
The reason why I say that is because if you took Jake Gyllenhaal, we can even break it down to 5. If you took Jake Gyllenhaal's top 5 movies with his performances and put them up against Tom Hanks' top 5 movies with his performances, Tom Hanks will win 5-0. That's my point.
Yeah, probably.
You can say these are good movies, but to compare them, his catalog is ridiculous. And you can do that probably with a lot of people, probably across the board.
Yeah.
Like if you say, what would you say is Denzel's best performance? If most people say Training Day
or Malcolm X.
Neither one of those are going to get voted as better than Forrest Gump.
I mean, it depends on the person.
Yeah, it might depend.
If a person is super pro-black, they're definitely going to say Malcolm X is better than Forrest Gump. It's a tighter race.
It's a tight race.
But as a whole, you're probably going to vote Forrest Gump over them. You're probably going to vote. I would say Castaway is probably closer to.
But yeah, I would match up Training Day. I would take Training Day over Forrest Gump.
Yeah,
even though Forrest Gump is like
I wouldn't say they're close
in terms of legendariness.
But yeah, but
his performance,
Forrest Gump, I think has more.
Movie, as a movie, yeah. Which one's more iconic? I mean, both of those are pretty iconic.
So, but at the same, so if you're pulling as a movie into it. Now you're not just adding Tom Hanks, you're adding the writers, you're adding the supporting actors, you're adding the plot, you're adding that stuff in, not just like.
But that's what I'm saying. As a part of his catalog, he makes a good his critique on Will Smith is that he doesn't necessarily make the best choices with the roles that he takes.
Okay.
So he can have stellar performances, but the roles that he takes kind of like this is kind of wonky. You get what I'm saying? I'm saying that. Tom Hanks makes impeccable selections with the roles that he takes.
And he also kills the role.
And then he smashes the roles.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
There's not too many actors who are doing that and they're being the lead in those movies. There are some people who are like, all right, they're in a lot of good Leo is in a lot of crazy good, impactful films.
Robert De Niro is a good matchup for Hanks. Now that I think about it,
yeah.
Robert De Niro's kind of lit.
De Niro's
because
a good
he
one.
has that age on him too, where he's been in a lot.
He's been. Yeah,
Robert De Niro's kind of lit.
a good one.
Robert De Niro's a good one. Yeah.
Damn.
I thought about it.
He's kind of lit. He's kind of lit. Taxi Driver,
good.
Goodfellas, The Godfather.
Shit. I mean, even
was when he was versus Al Pacino. Heat was good.
Heat is lit.
Yep.
Dude, we're missing a big one. I know we're missing a big one.
No, I was about to say.
And he has a little bit of range too, because he was in Meet the Parents. And he was
Raging
funny.
Bull. No, don't get me wrong. Like I love. He's the reason why I mentioned The Family to y'all. He's the lead character in The Family that I was telling y'all about. The movie where he ends up having to inform on the mafia, and then they move to another country, and they have to act like they're.
Oh yeah.
Man.
Yeah, he's the lead in that.
You know who's another?
I love him. I 100% love him as a actor. And Men of Honor, one of my favorites. He's in that. Damn. But yeah, he has a lot of good films.
You know who's? You know
The King of Comedy. That is an underrated Robert De Niro movie.
Dog, I'm going.
And the new Joker that came out with Joaquin Phoenix took a lot of inspiration from that too.
I pulled another one out the hat. Fucking Jack Nicholson.
Jack.
Oh Lord,
yeah, when you get
Jesus.
when you got to look for people in his age bracket, then
The Shining,
The Shining is lit.
the Batman films, The Departed, A Few Good Men.
The Departed, yes.
As good as it gets.
As I love As Good as It Gets.
Like
A Few Good Men.
Oof.
He has a good.
because
He has
wait,
a good.
he's got
for
some good
Robert De Niro
ones.
also.
Yeah, but okay. Now if you go 10 for 10, and they're put on paper 10
Well,
for
you
10,
said 5.
you.
And then
I said we
you
can.
know,
I said we can
now
break.
we
No, I started
Yeah,
with 10.
you
I
said
said
with
you
10.
can even break it down to 5. But even if you go top 5, and you compare them with these movies that you're saying that are super impactful, you're still gonna be like, I probably choose The Shining over damn near anything.
Mm-hmm.
But then after that, you're probably gonna be picking Tom Hanks movies. That's my point. Like his catalog is kind of
Possibly.
is
Without bias, maybe. But
he's
I
not.
feel
He's
like
not
I
my
wouldn't-
favorite actor.
Yeah, I feel like
he's
I
not my
couldn't-
favorite actor. But
In a
he's-
verse, I feel like I couldn't go into it without bias. So I'm like, all right, I like this movie more, even though like I understand.
Right, you understand, why his
Yeah.
performance in the film's deemed more. Yeah. Same.
yeah, his catalog is kind of crazy. I didn't think about that
You're right.
until we started talking about it. I was like, hold up. He's kind of Tom Brady-ish.
Tom Brady, yeah.
with his roles.
Yeah.
is kind of ridiculous when you think about it.
It's true.
Castaway is I Am Legend before I Am Legend.
In a lot of ways, yeah.
Castaway is today before today. Like if you go in people's houses, there's just Amazon boxes everywhere.
Right. Yeah.
And
That's
just random things
Yeah, that's
from the mail.
That's facts.
Yeah, but it was just impromptu topic of the day. I don't have to get into the other one I had. I was gonna say those name like our top 3 romantic comedies since that was the genre, but
And I don't
That's something
appreciate you
different.
guys not putting respect on the movie Captain Phillips.
Oh no, I
You
love
guys have-
Captain Phillips.
Captain Phillips is only one of 2 movies that got a tear out of me in the movie
Really?
theater.
Yeah.
Him at that ending scene with
Yeah.
him having to see his wife.
that's another good
Oh,
good topic.
Yeah.
Jeez.
What movies have made you cry?
Made me cry.
Passion of the Christ, Captain
Passion of the
Phillips.
Christ. That's it.
That's it.
You didn't cry in Hardball?
No.
And
I've
G
only
Baby
cr-
died?
No.
I got me.
I didn't cry either. What made me?
There's
cry?
some that get
G
me
Baby
like
got me.
emotional.
Southpaw.
But an actual
Southpaw
tear.
got me really
Only
emotional.
two
I don't know if I
tears.
cried, but Southpaw like they drag you through sorrow the entire
Yeah,
movie.
for sure.
So I don't know if it got me, but I was probably close.
There was a movie that probably would have, but the environment that I watched it in, I was watching 12 Years a Slave,
Yeah.
and there was some super like when they start where they start to beat spoiler alert, where they start to beat Patsy and they're beating her for like her going and getting soap, and she was like, "Listen, you have me out in the field. I work harder than everybody. I'm your biggest earner. I even earn twice as much as your highest earning man. All I want to do is to be able to wash myself because I throw up at night at the smell of myself because I can't wash myself." And then he beats her for that. That scene is super duper hard to watch, but I watched it in the theater with like some old Caucasoids, and they were like bawling their eyes out behind me, and they were like, I didn't know. Oh my gosh, I didn't know. And I couldn't, like, it completely took me out of the moment. I'm like, bitch, we've been telling you for a long time. Like, what you mean you ain't know? We've been telling you about this for the longest.
Another one that it was, I think I might have teared up, but it was like out of anger kind of one. That's Mudbound.
Oh yeah,
Mudbound.
That made me
just
angry.
like,
Mudbound definitely.
Because it's that you feel helpless and you're like, you feel it.
They said there's some that make me emotional, but to actually get the tears
I don't think I've actually had a
Passion
a
of the
movie
Christ.
make me cry.
Captain Phillips.
Yeah. The most emotional
That's
I've
it.
probably gotten. I got pretty emotional watching Black Panther. I can't think of anything where I got more emotional. Yeah, around the third act of Black Panther, the second time he sees his father, I was like, damn, this is
that movie
epic
with
as
all the
hell.
white people in Boston? With
With the Boston Marathon?
Nah, this is another super sad movie. We watched. I don't think you were in the movie
Ted?
club yet.
I just
what's
cried.
Batman's? Who's Batman right now? Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck's brother, Casey Affleck.
Oh yeah, the movie
It won an
produced
award
by
for
Matt
something,
Damon,
but it was super sad.
Yeah, what's it called?
Sad Casey Affleck.
Yeah, no, literally. Matt Damon was supposed to play that role too.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, there's, like I said, there's been a bunch of movies that make me emotional.
Oh, Manchester by the Sea.
Manchester by the Sea.
You remember that one?
Yeah. No.
Where? Yeah.
I'm telling you, there's movies
I
that
don't know.
make me.
I
There's
can't
movies that
remember
make
exactly
me
what it is, but
emotional.
I remember being.
And
to the
I'm
point where
an
like,
emotional person, so it's not like I'm trying to say it like I'm tough. So I don't.
same.
Like I even cry when I get really mad.
Yeah, same.
I have no problem with crying.
Word.
So it's not like me saying like I'm a super tough guy. But there's only been 2 movies to actually get a tear
I can't think
out of me. And that's why I was like, yo, for y'all, for people to be like, Captain Phillips was just like, I was like, yo, that ending scene. The movie was good already, but that ending scene and his performance along, like with seeing his wife and having to basically like tell his wife that he's about to die. And telling her he loves her in that same sentence, that scene, I was like done.
Right.
I was like, yep, nope, there's no holding it back.
It's over.
Yeah, it's a wrap. Like I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, nah, not at all.
But yeah, that topic. I'm gonna put this on our Instagram as a question.
Some tearjerkers.
Yeah, well, not just the tearjerkers, but who do we think has a better catalog?
Who has better?
versus, yeah.
For sure.
For a verse.
Make it a questions and make people vote for it, or give their answer.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So I feel like he's like.
Yeah, no, he's goated for sure. Like,
he can get drunk at a parade and
I think
nobody
he's
feels
also
any
to
way
that
about
point.
it.
Yeah, he's to that point where he's so goated that it makes you feel like what I'm doing. I'm like, all right, you can like.
Right.
I know what I'm gonna get from him. I know it's gonna be amazing every time. So it's like not that it's boring, but it's like I've seen it.
It's like
That's like trying to compare someone voice acting to Robin Williams.
Right.
Let it go.
Right.
He's the best.
He's got it.
Right. And it's just like, it's like the MJ thing. It's like, 2-3 Pete's. I get it. I know. It's like it's been beaten into us forever. Like Tom Hanks is the greatest of all time, motherfucker. Like, so definitely I can see that a lot of people just being like,
And he made a transition from doing just like mostly comedy and like
right.
that stuff in the beginning. They talk about that in Forrest Gump too.
Right. Yeah. I was going through a lot of his stuff. Like seeing
in the
some of his
Forrest Gump
early stuff.
behind the scenes thing.
Yeah, like in the late 80s, he was doing a lot of like.
Yeah, he had like,
he had like a
what's the
bachelor
one with the
party
dog?
movie.
Hooch
He had
or something.
fucking.
When he was a detective with the.
Yeah, he
French
seemed like a
Mastiff.
bit of a sex symbol. Like he was like in a lot of stuff with like hotties, like on the poster, like baddies. Like I was like, okay, Tom, I didn't know you was
but
pulling like that.
no one's had more confusing baddies than Adam Sandler. He always has.
Well, I mean,
the most
and,
attractive one.
and he was like producing mad movies at a certain time. He was just like, oh no, I'm gonna get the hot chick. Like, y'all got me.
Right.
So wait, now that I think about it,
did Big
Tom
Daddy
Hanks never played
make you cry?
a bad guy.
Did Big Daddy make you cry when they were taking him away?
No.
That I was also younger, but that got me too. I'm like, so let him stay.
I knew it was I knew it was coming. So
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, this isn't gonna. One, he's not this kid's father. Two, I mean, from a technical or like governmental standpoint, he would be the worst person to raise a child.
The worst person based on
okay, now that I think about it, you're saying like childhood, The Lion King definitely made me cry.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that I think about it.
Yeah, I definitely didn't cry.
Lion King.
During The Lion King.
I
was more so pissed. Like he died, and you seen him die, but I was like, yo, who's gonna fuck
it wasn't
Scar
even
up?
for me.
Like,
it wasn't even when Mufasa died. I didn't even cry when he died. It was like the after. I think it was me. Like it was one of those first movies. Like as a kid, like
where you feel emotion.
Yeah, and I was just like, even with Rafiki, like he's alive, like, and like Rafiki like finds him, and like that. I got mad emotional as a kid. I was like, damn, like he's gonna go back home, like. And Rafiki's like, go. And I was like, go, Simba, like, go, dog. Like,
I also think that there is a level of desensitizing when I see black hardship films.
Yeah.
Like I immediately just tense up because I know what to expect. I know, these are things like I could probably see in real life.
Yeah.
So I immediately tense up in that way. So I feel like it doesn't really grab me where it catches me off guard. I feel like the movies that even Passion of the Christ, I feel like if I went to go see it with people from church. So the whole theater was just bawling.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to not.
Yeah, to not. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like a yawn.
So it's like I feel like the ones that have actually gotten the tears is where like I wasn't expecting this emotional part, and then it just came out of nowhere. But with those, like any film in the hood, I'm expecting someone to die, or there to be like a ridiculous hardship
he's
story.
Like 5 years old.
Yeah, like when Ricky gets shot and Boys in the Hood.
Well, yeah, that but because G Baby was a baby.
Yeah,
and it's like. No, he's not supposed to die. Like,
yeah, but then I mean, you also I've seen films where like they're selling crack to a pregnant lady.
Yeah,
we know what's happening. To that kid, and then she comes back and she no longer has the baby. Like she was pregnant, and then she's not pregnant, but it wasn't 9 months.
Yeah,
right.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, well, we can kind of assess what happened with that situation. It's like you've seen a lot of like there's scenes that made me, I say it all the time, like the scene that made me emotional, like Pursuit of Happiness bathroom scene with the son. Yeah. Super emotional, but like you start seeing what path they're headed down. You start seeing like, dang, like he can't catch a break. He can't catch a break. His wife leaves him. All right, you've already like gotten me like into this emotional bag where I'm already kind of sad for the character, so I know what to expect. So then it kind of I'm conditioning myself to this emotion,
right? Like that you're gonna be set up for emotional moments. I was just going back and going through, and I was thinking of like Fruitvale Station with Michael B. Jordan. Like I know there's gonna be a scene where we are seeing him dying, and we're gonna see the fallout, XYZ. Like I'm prepared for this. Like 12 Years a Slave, I'm ready to see black people get their ass whipped, like for the whole movie. I'm ready for that. Like, so it's like there's definitely that going into films like that. And even like unrelated to, civil rights and slave films. Like when you are prepared for trauma beforehand, like if you're going to be going through something in a viewing experience, you definitely are a little bit less, likely to be emotionally charged just because, it's like, I was kind of ready for this beforehand. But at the same time, I mean, a lot of people kind of like gear up to, you know what I mean? Like kind of even with music, like a lot of people listen to like, The Weeknd and like certain artists over and over again because they know that it's going to elicit that for them. And they go to that music or that film or whatever specifically to get those emotions. I have a friend that's
like, hey, give me some movie suggestions because I feel like crying.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So I'm in a group on Facebook. And that was someone asked that question literally, I think earlier today. Yeah. Hey, could you guys recommend any movies that's gonna make me cry?
Yeah, like I haven't cried in so long, and
it's like here's Schindler's List.
I mean, that's how I think of people when they go see scary movies, because it's like
Right.
Why do you want us to go be scared for? Like,
see, but the thing is, I
like,
find scary movies to be comedy.
Yeah, I find them hilarious.
Yeah, they're
but
the
some,
funniest.
I'm like,
there's some they create characters.
Why are you doing
that's
this?
super. There's some that create characters that's funny, like Saw. Like you can put that in the scary movie category.
Yeah,
but then he puts people in these predicaments a lot of times who deserve to be in these predicaments. Like we said, it's all we talked about this before. You're like, oh, if you're a superhero, you know, what would you do? And I say this every time. Oh, my superpower would probably be teleporting, and I 100% would just become a pedophile serial killer.
Oh my God.
100%. Like there's no doubt in my mind about it. So in Saw, he's like, all right, I'm taking all these people who have been super crappy people, and I'm gonna put them in this game, and either they're gonna have to address their crappiness, or everyone dies.
Yeah.
Right.
So like, I don't consider like Saw scary. Most like paranormal stuff is where I'm like, all right, why are you guys gonna go watch this, and now you're gonna be up all night, or like you're just gonna close the door, or like the air conditioner's gonna turn on, and now you're like, for the next week you're like this. Like,
see, I spend that time laughing. I'm gonna tell you why.
Yeah.
You walk into a house, you feel bad vibes. You're looking to buy a house, you feel bad vibes. The person tells you that there's a history of paranormal activity in this home. And your thought is, this is a keeper.
Yeah, but
let me raise my family.
This is you though. But I'm talking about just normal, not normal people. You're not
normal, regular
people who are going like, all right, I'm not going there because I think I'm going to be laughing at this. I'm going there to be scared. I want to see the scary movie. Like, oh, I'm trying to get that feeling or whatever.
Right.
It's the same feeling of people who like roller coasters or like adrenaline rushes. Like,
but I like all that stuff.
That's what I'm saying. It's that same type of, the same reason why a person would go do those things. It's the same reason why a lot of people go to scary movies. It's like that quick adrenaline rush, that
action
quick
films, action
right. So that's why I don't judge people when they want to say like, hey, I want a sad movie so I can cry.
Bro,
I want
when
to
you go to
sad movie.
just go to drive-in movies when you watch scary movies, and you can always roll up that car window. Because you know
you know if you have windows up, you're safe.
You're safe.
Exactly.
That's like having a blanket. You blanket on in the bed.
It's gonna cover me from the monsters. It's gonna protect me.
The demons can't get you if you have a blanket.
Can't. Yeah.
That's funny. But yeah, we can finally get into You've Got Mail. I guess it's our first Tom Hanks movie.
You've Got Mail.
That we are reviewing. So I'm gonna give an intro to the movie, and then I'm gonna also, when I was pulling not the intro, like the little summary plot or thing, I read there was like questions that come up underneath it, and there's a funny one I'll share in a second. But so the movie is a struggling boutique bookseller. Meg Ryan, her character is Kathleen Kelly, hates Joe Fox, who is Tom Hanks, the owner of a corporate Fox books chain. So basically, little bookstore, mom and pop bookstore, and then a big like Barnes and Noble's chain is coming in and putting a big store right next to her little store, and obviously going to take the business because they can sell the same books for cheaper, and so on. So that's happening. But they are also in a relationship, not a relationship, not like loving one, but they're pen pals online in the age of like IMing and email. So You've Got Mail. That's where it comes from. So yeah, eventually Joe learns that the enchanting woman he's involved with is actually his business rival, and now he's struggling to reconcile his real life dislike with her with the cyber love that he's come to feel with her. So it's like maybe the first ever cyber love movie.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. It might be.
Or and it did. I mean, it wasn't a catfish instance.
Right.
There used to be a lot of those back then, but
catfish.
even still now,
people still getting catfish.
Yeah, for sure.
Really?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
catfish is still like definitely a thing. Catfish and
cheaters not as
still come on.
Jeez.
And no, the stories are like even more wild.
Really?
And the most recent one I've seen is the pettiest thing I've ever seen. This girl was dating a guy, and the guy cheats on her with another girl. The girl he cheats on her with, she believed that he was going to leave his original girlfriend for her. He doesn't. She's upset about it. She then creates a fake page
of a guy
because she finds out that those two break up, and she makes this girl fall in love with this guy, and they're talking online for 2 years.
That's so long.
That's wild.
2 years,
and then they mental institute.
And then they meet
insane.
up. 2 years, and then they meet up, and she realizes who it is, and she was like, "I finally got to get you back." I was like,
"That's crazy."
2 years
commit
of
that
torture.
much time.
2 years of torture to the wrong person. Why? Why is the guy
not the one
that you're directing his anger to?
Yeah,
you for 2 years.
2 years, baby.
To the girl that you like messed over, like ruined the relationship that she had.
And then on the other end, why are you talking to someone for 2 years who you never see?
Right.
We're in this is in our era where it's like Skype, FaceTime, Uvu, Zoom. There's so many options to at least see this person. Never within this 2 years. So yes, it's still around.
It's still around for sure. It's still alive and well.
But this definitely brought back some nostalgia too.
Oh, I had another story of crazy stuff. I'll get back to the question, but I just thought of it right now. Did you guys see that? I think it was on like Twitter or something, where a guy bought a car for like $500 and registered it in his ex-girlfriend's name and illegally parked it, and it stayed there.
And let it get tickets.
Yeah, it got tickets for like. I don't know if it was 2 years or however long it was.
Yeah.
So a whole bunch of tickets to the point where like, I think there either, I don't know if it was a warrant or something, but to the point where she had real legal issues and she had no idea because she doesn't know the car. She doesn't know it's getting tickets is attached to her. And the government was like pursuing her and suing her for all this money. I think it ended up being like, it was like thousands of dollars.
What the hell?
And yeah, it was like the ultimate get back. I bought a car for you as a gift. I'm not telling you. I'm parking it somewhere illegally.
Oh my god!
And now it's incurring all these charges, and now you're responsible for them.
Right.
She broke up with me.
Oh my god!
But
that's
so
wild. That's insane.
Watching this movie, You've Got Mail. It's kind of like it's kind of like a fun movie. I'm like, all right, like this is what's going on. I wonder how it's gonna end up. So there's this person's take was. You've Got Mail is a horror movie. It's a disturbing, true-to-life thriller about a gaslighting millionaire businessman who destroys a woman's livelihood and somehow gets her to fall in love with him anyway. You've Got Mail, my buddy Joe. So if you look at it from the toxic perspective or like how problematic this thing is, like that's what it said. Is like why... The random question was, why is You've Got Mail problematic? And I was like, what's problematic about this? He's gaslighting her.
It's interesting.
And then still like, fall in love with me. It's just business. Like, now we could be happily ever after.
A lot of people are going back into some of these rom-coms and romantic films and are really unraveling the toxicity in a lot of them. I heard the same similar commentary about Love and Basketball. And they were kind of going in. Just,
bro, I heard it. Everyone was like, I felt like she wasn't shit back then. Like I analyzed some of these movies, and I'm like, these movies that we view as
I think
like,
you talked about it on the pod. Play Me 101 for.
Yeah, that's like I've analyzed some of these movies way back when.
Right.
A lot of these movies that we view as like top tier rom-coms, and people look up to them as like, oh man, this is a crazy love story.
Yeah,
and most of them. It's just the guy accepting the woman being ain't shit.
Right,
and they view that as a love story.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's 100% what Love and Basketball is.
Yeah, no, for sure.
That's 100% what Love Jones is.
Yeah.
That's like a lot of these rom-coms is just the woman can be ain't shit and the guy puts up with it and then they end up together.
Yeah.
And
then they're like, the nice guy does win sometimes.
Right.
Happily ever after.
She's trash. Hopefully she doesn't hurt him later, 10 years down the line.
Like how we're like the series that everyone got invested. They were so happy. Oh, what a love story between Lawrence and Issa.
Right. Yeah. And yeah. Yep. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's what we view as like romance now, and gets people attached. And it's like, all right, we're just gonna be accepting that she ain't shit.
Yeah.
He accepts that. Yeah. He looks past it. He looks past all of her flaws and sees her for who she truly is. And they live happily ever after.
Yeah.
Like even if you analyze, we can go Disney movies. Beauty and the Beast. She wasn't shit to him.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
She just looked good.
Yeah, that's true.
He was a beast.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of when you look back, a lot of them have like that through line of just kind of like a basic
Shrek.
Yeah.
She wasn't shit to him.
Very
he went through all this to save her, and she still wasn't shit to him.
She was trying to go out with the midget.
All these movies that we view as romantic comedy movies is just the women being able to treat the guy however they want, and him being like, "I'm still gonna pursue you."
What was the one with Jimmy Fallon in it? Was it Fallon? Yeah. When they were like, it was take place in Boston, when baseball was involved in it. I'm gonna look it up. But also another one that's good is 50 First Dates.
Yeah, and I just saw.
But she was just blonde, like
10 Things I Hate About You.
She's all that.
Well, wait, in 50 First Dates, it was her fault. She just got in a car accident and she just couldn't remember anything. From
that's not. Well, I didn't mention 50 First Dates. I wouldn't necessarily say that's her fault. That's just the situation. I would say the society's view on the movie as to why it's romantic is the guy's ability to be a punching bag.
Yeah,
that's what we view as romantic. That's the princess syndrome. It's like, all right, well, no matter what you do or no matter who you are, he's gonna look past all of that,
right?
And you guys are gonna end up happily ever after.
Yeah.
I think that's a facet of some rom-coms. The other ones are like, you're not with the person you're supposed to be with. They're about to get married. Don't get married.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I like rom-coms, even the cheesiness, and like I analyze. I mean, we talk about this all the time. I'm a lovey-dovey person, but I'll be like, the guy will be doing something romantic, and I'm like, he half-assed that. Like, he could have done this.
It's called Fever Pitch.
I don't think I've seen that.
You ever seen Fever Pitch? I thought it was decent. It's funny.
I haven't seen it either.
But yes,
Drew Barrymore.
She's for sure been ain't shit. There's another one we watched, 500 Days of Summer.
Isn't that with who's in that?
That we watched in the movie club.
I remember the name, but I don't remember it now.
She was terrible to this dude. She made this dude fall in love, and then was like, nah, that was just for the summer, my guy.
Oh, I remember. What's the name? Joseph Gordon-Levitt's in it. I remember
Joseph
that.
Gordon-Levitt.
And then
and then he finds the actual girl he should have been with at the end, like at the interview. But yeah,
I'm telling
she was
you,
like, it was just like
all
for some
these
time.
movies, even from the first time that I seen them, I'm like, Love and Basketball is like, yo, I'm engaged. I'm getting married tomorrow. You knocking on my window at 3 a.m. Expect fireworks.
Expect fireworks.
Like,
Expect the bullshit.
What do you mean? We're not playing anything.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna play someone one-on-one for your heart?
No, we're not
Is that
playing.
what happened?
We're not playing anything. This is 3 a.m. I get married in the morning.
Right.
You know how much this wedding
Like,
costs?
this
We're not
disrespectful as
playing.
hell.
We're gonna play Call the Police if you don't stop knocking on
We're
my
gonna play
window.
cops and robbers in a minute.
We're gonna play restraining order.
If you don't stop knocking on my damn window. What? Like what?
Yo.
Love Jones, same thing.
Love Jones, yeah.
Then she's talking to this guy, her ex-fiance, who who left her randomly and didn't say anything, just left. And they've been broken up. She starts talking to this new guy. She's invested in this new guy. Her friend convinces her to test him and play this game where her ex invites her to come to New York. She's a photographer and she can like pursue that.
Yeah.
But she's going to go to New York and stay at his place with him for 2 weeks. And she's testing this guy who they haven't made it exclusive, but clearly they're into each other.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, what is he supposed to say? Because if he says, no, he doesn't want you to go, he doesn't really have the right to say that at this point in your relationship. But clearly he's into you. And why are you playing this game of like, let me test to see how much let me test to see how much he's into you.
All right.
Then you do that. You come back and see he's with someone else, and then he's to blame.
Mm-hmm.
When you're upset he's with someone else when you just spent 2 weeks with your ex-fiance.
Right. Trying to test buddy.
And then we're happy because they end up together, but it's like, look at what he had to deal with.
Yeah, he didn't have to do all this. He could have just
like look at what he had to do.
So wait, before we get into You've Got Mail, what are some rom-coms that you do like? Because you say it's your favorite genre, and I've only heard you.
Well, I mean, not saying no. I'll say that the women ain't shit. That doesn't mean I didn't like the film.
Okay.
I might still like the film, but it doesn't mean that doesn't mean that the women aren't. I mean. Take your pick of pretty much any Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like they always are lit with those. I like
Click.
Yeah, I like Wedding Crashers.
Wedding Crashers
is lit. I like Couples Retreat with Vince Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn
and Damn Near Anything.
Yeah.
Is like
all the Vince Vaughn flicks.
Is rom com.
He's such
this is why I want
rom-com, like almost an enigma.
Yeah.
He's almost like an Vince Vaughn. Because the way he acts is like he's not really trying.
Yeah, no,
but it's like that's just who he's playing.
Yeah, no, like he does that well. Because there are films where he's like having to deliver a different kind of character, and he's excellent. But he's so good at just like that laid back, like what's that film where
Hitch
he was like a
good.
sperm donor and he had like 50 kids.
I don't.
Yeah.
It was just like being that type of character, be like, yeah, I got 50 kids. Oh, I'm a sperm donor, shit.
Yeah, Hitch is lit.
Hitch. Yeah.
Dang it, why I can't think of this. It's a movie with Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, the other guys?
Stepdads.
Not Stepdad. Yeah,
yeah,
not the other guys.
Stepdads, rom-com, it's lit, 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
What else? There's a bunch that are good.
Oh, man. What's the one? Meet the Fockers? Kind of like family, but kind of romantic comedy.
All of them.
I don't know where like
all of them
where
are
the
bangers.
lines between just comedy and romantic comedy.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like if it ends up with a couple happily ever after, I feel like that's the romance part.
Okay, then they meet the parents, meet the Fockers, all of them.
Yeah, you kind of intertwine. Yeah, those family romantic comedy I'd put
because the love is what's driving the story. Like he's only meeting them because
right.
That's true.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of good ones, but a lot of the ones that we view as like the more romantic ones, like they're still
except for
the one
I love
the
this
most
Christmas
popular
going to like black rom-coms. I love this Christmas.
Yeah,
yeah.
The most popular rom-com of all, like I still haven't watched because I'm like, yo, people revere this as like the best, and so I have to prepare myself to put up with the bullshit. The Notebook.
Oh, The Notebook.
Oh yeah, now see that's more like
I have to prepare myself to put up with
that's more like a romantic.
I've never seen it. I won't watch it.
Almost.
Like I already know
it's dramatic.
I already know she ain't.
Now
shit.
see that
I
movie,
know I ain't gotta watch it.
If you're trying to cry, you can go watch The Notebook.
I doubt I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, it's a tear. Now that movie's a tearjerker.
Kevin James has the sound guy stuff. You ever seen that?
Oh yeah.
And he does the
I Am Legend
one.
is the best one though.
Oh, I Am Legend.
I Am Legend is the best one.
But I thought The Notebook was really good too because Ryan Gosling's character is doing like when they're in front of like the house and he's going into the thing. He's like, "Dude, I just need to get sound." He's like, "What do you want?" He's like, I just need to get sound." It was funny. Kevin James' YouTube is good content.
Yeah, Kevin James is the best.
But that's what I've been saying. I said take any Vince Vaughn movie and just make the characters black.
Yeah.
And we need more of those.
Yeah,
we need just normal black family.
Yeah, and just like
rom-com.
Yes,
like
bro.
nothing. It doesn't have to be anything traumatic.
Yeah,
we don't have to
race,
go. Like we don't have to go out our way to say that these are black characters. We can see that.
Yeah.
Like just a normal,
just regular
normalized.
life.
Like I feel like that's. I mean, people don't like him as a person nowadays, and with good reason. But that's why the Cosby Show was so popular.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
It was
just
a
like
normal
family stuff.
with normal family problems. Yeah. They didn't have to go out their way to tell you that they were black. It was very rare that they even addressed the race.
Yeah,
it was just like this is a household
because
a
in the household,
a middle class household. Yeah, a middle class household with normal teenage problems. Them having normal family issues. The kids doing stupid stuff, trying to pull the wool over the parents' eyes, like that type of stuff. Like we need films though, like that, like just a normal family, random funniness
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah, that's what we need more. We need more. Not to go too much into Cosby, but he was so great like that, like similar to Seinfeld, where he was just an incredible observational comic, and he was just so great at breaking down some things that you consider mundane or just normal, and kind of twist it in a way that you were able to like see the humor in everyday life. So yeah, we need that absolutely more in comedy. Period. Like just regular shit going down, and the characters just so happen to be black. Like yeah, absolutely. I
feel like we got the blueprint. People need to
it's
tap
there.
us.
It's just absolutely like a movie. Yeah, like the black version of You Got Mail. Like I could totally see that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in today's society, that could easily, that could be anything.
Yeah.
I was just when I thought about it before, but I was just reminded of it. Like, what's the app that was just super popular that everybody was getting on, where it was basically like a chat room with audio?
Clubhouse.
Clubhouse.
Jesus.
Clubhouse is just a modern version of these chat rooms way back
Yeah.
when.
Yep.
But it's just with audio now.
Yeah.
Right.
People weren't using Clubhouse the same way. They were using it back then. But it was just a more modern version. So imagine people like meeting on something like a Clubhouse.
Right.
And then like actually meeting up and being like, oh, I could put a face with a voice. Oh, I wasn't expecting you to look like this. Or I wasn't expecting, you know, yada, yada, yada. Like, I feel like there's definitely like a more modern version of that could be made. But yeah, I feel like the only black rom-coms that I've seen that have been normal is interracial.
I've seen that
That's
too.
true,
Like,
too.
and they all live on Netflix. I don't know what. I guess it's a kink at the Netflix headquarters. But
No, they have strong black lead. They have that. The whole Twitter and like account.
Yeah, I follow
designated
that
to
account on IG too. Yeah, but I do notice that though. Like, there are certain. It's like almost a genre in itself where it's like you said, a point is made that this primary character is black. You know what I mean? Inadvertently, or you know what I mean?
I think Gambino could probably write a good one. Donald Glover.
Yeah, he's so good.
I think he could write a good one.
He totally could. Without even getting too, because I know Donald, he likes to take things. Sometimes he likes to stretch that shit, like which he does amazingly. But I could see him doing something that's like totally normal too. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. Well, let's get back into You've Got Mail.
Yeah. You've Got Mail.
a
Yeah,
turn.
that's what we're talking about. And then just going into You've Got Mail, I didn't realize, I totally forgot that Meg Ryan and Hanks were like one of those classic rom-com couples. They've done a lot. Sleepless in Seattle, you know what I mean? They did Ithaca in 2015, Joe versus Volcano. I don't know if those other two are rom-coms, but they're just one of those classic movie couples, you know what I mean? Next to, you know, Vince Vaughn and his leading ladies, Adam Sandler, Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
You know, so that you could definitely see the chemistry in this film, like right off the bat.
Yeah, and this one definitely flirted with like the idea of adultery and cheating through like these IMs and stuff. But I thought it was hilarious that the people they were with were also like perfect for each other too. They were like hitting it off and all that too. I thought that was funny. So everything was done in.
I think with this one and with most rom-coms, I mean, with any other movie, this would be like a bad part.
Yeah.
But with rom-coms, like you can already tell where it's going.
Right.
Like when you're watching it, you can already tell, like, all right, these two's gonna end up together. These two, it's
Like
probably
the
gonna
writing's
happen
on the
that
walls,
way.
like how are
Like
you
what's
just gonna
gonna
get
go
there?
down?
Yeah, how are you
Yeah.
gonna get there?
Yeah. So it was 100% that. And You've Got Mail, like I 100%, like even when you start seeing like she's complaining about this or she's complaining about this store opening up and he's like, all right, I'm not gonna tell her what my last name is. I'm gonna just, you know, I got something I need to be doing right now.
Yeah,
And
when
I'm
he was
gonna
like
exit.
in the store.
I was like, all
And the
right.
little kid's like, Fox, FOX, Fox. Like, oh, wow, you're so smart. How can you do that? Say cat, Fox, FOX.
I was like,
That was
all
pretty
right,
funny.
well, if he's avoiding her now, he's not gonna be able to do that for the entire duration of this movie.
Yeah.
You can kind of see
And
where
like
this
how
is
they
going.
reveal it too. They're like, all right, we're going to show you who these people are. And now we're pitting them against each other before they even know who each other are or who each other is. I don't know the correct grammar on that, but yeah, before they they realize like, oh, my business rivals who I've been talking to and low key like falling in love with outside of my marriage or relationship or whatever. But no, yeah, I liked it. It was good. After I watched it, I was like, okay, like I probably should have watched this sooner. I hadn't seen it before this, but yeah. What do you guys think? Any more thoughts? Any like?
It was just an overall classic. Like you have a lot of your like classic, rom-com tropes.
Yeah,
throughout
feel
it.
goodiness.
The feel goodiness, the soundtrack.
That's always the best.
Yeah, you know what I
laugh
mean.
at that every time. It was like you can literally count down to the romantic music
Yeah.
ready to play.
Absolutely.
3, 2, and we're
Absolutely. And then just the character dynamics. I love in these kind of films, especially like 90s films, you have like those ancillary characters that you just fall in love with immediately, like the best friend or, the coworker. And, they have that, you always have that in the beginning of the film where they have that, kind of like, I told you so, like, like maybe you shouldn't. Yeah. Like, maybe, back in my day or whatever, like I totally wouldn't do that, but hey, you do you, I love that about films like this. And it just helps kind of like amp up the characters even more. Like, and Tom Hanks just does a great job of just like feeding off of whoever he's on screen with. And again, going back to the chemistry with him and Meg Ryan, it's like you can tell that they enjoyed making this film. Mm-hmm. And the writing's actually pretty sharp too. I think that's one thing that's been missing from a lot of the recent romantic comedies, where it's just like, it's just trying to give you, it's kind of like that quick, easy fix that a lot of people like out of these films now. Like the, what's that Netflix one that they made like 3 of them now, to the boy that what is it called? With the Asian girl and the guy, what's it called? To the boys.
The original one is Crazy Rich Asians.
Not Crazy Rich Asians. No.
But there was one, You'll Always Be My Maybe.
Nah, it was Netflix. To the Boys. What the hell is that shit called? To the Boys that what is it called? Hold on, we're gonna get this.
What was that movie?
To All the Boys I've Loved Before.
Can we take a moment to analyze the title?
All the Boys.
To all the boys
all
I
of
have
them.
loved before.
All y'all niggas.
We're just gonna foreshadow that
What's
she ain't
wrong?
shit.
All y'all
I
niggas.
already know.
I ain't seen not one of these. They've made 3 of these motherfuckers already.
So if it was To All the Girls I Loved Before, like
so look, this one's to
it would be a normal like pimp movie
Yeah,
that we
pimp movie.
Yeah, like
now see this one. This is
he's
a
falling in
rom-com.
love
This is
with
a
so many
rom-com
girls.
trilogy. Now the Zoomers are eating this shit up. There's a rom-com trilogy. The first one came out on 2018, which is called To All the Boys I've Loved Before. 2020, To All the Boys. P.S. I Still Love You. 2021, To All the Boys, Always and Forever.
Come on, yo.
Is this a series? There's a movie?
It's 3 movies.
It's 3 movies of
Yeah.
ain't shitness.
Yeah,
3
it's-
movies that I'm not probably gonna watch.
It's a lot of This is very much Gen Z like.
The kind of stuff that Gen Z likes is kind of like
they ate
off
this
the
shit
wall.
up. I think they kind of started trashing them towards the end, but when that first one dropped in 18, they were just eating it up. I just remember seeing it on the timeline a bunch, and I was just like, okay, what's happening there? But I mean,
To all the boys.
yeah, To All the Boys.
Come on, yo.
Yeah, no, hot mess. And I was just getting ready to say they are remaking She's All That. They're doing He's All That now. I don't know if you guys seen She's All That, but it's another like classic rom-com. Similar to Love Don't Cost a Thing with Nick Cannon and Christina Milian. Y'all seen that one? Where it's like the makeover and he falls in love with the person that they make over.
She wasn't shit
and
either.
shit. Yeah, no, she totally wasn't shit. Yeah.
What was the
It's
one where
very
Usher
much
was in?
sociopathic.
The Bodyguard?
The Bodyguard.
where he was supposed to protect her and she was like
Yeah.
in Italian mafia.
Oh
like,
my
is
God.
little Usher gonna protect you from who?
The little Usher. Yeah, like
I kind of still like that one though. It was okay.
I actually I kind of think Love Don't Cost a Thing's in like my top 10 rom-coms.
Yeah.
Low key. Nick Cannon's hilarious at that shit. Yeah, I kind of like that one. And again, the chemistry, and then going back to Tom and Meg. Yeah, that's really the thing that shines through and sells the film.
For sure. You can definitely tell that they had chemistry. Another thing I like with rom-coms is how they narrate the story as they're going along. Like, it was just a day in New York and this is happening.
Exactly. It's so like Jennifer Lopez 2000 flicks, Made in Manhattan.
Like Wedding Planner.
Like Wedding Planner, yeah.
Almost, it kind of feels like, what's that show you like
Monster-in-Law.
that you said you were ashamed to admit, or you've never admitted on the podcast before?
What's that?
About New York, Sarah Jessica Parker, Sex and the City.
Yeah.
Sex and the City. Yeah, it's kind of
the movie,
like,
not the show.
Oh, the movie. Okay.
The movie was lit.
Yeah.
I don't care what y'all say.
Yeah, I ain't seen
I seen the movie and I thought it was okay.
I haven't seen the movies. But yeah, I definitely get that feel. I definitely get like a warm feeling with the Sex and the City, that narration. Like,
yeah.
You know, when it comes on, it's like, oh, I'm in the city.
When they're typing, like, I was talking to him about this, so you could read what they're saying, but she's also like giving her first person POV of it.
Yeah. I like that too.
Kind of makes you have like a cheesy smile the whole time you're watching. Like, oh,
No, it really
popcorn.
does. It's like that classic. Yeah, it's like that classic corny, like, you know, will they, won't they, or you know.
Bro, could you imagine if this is completely a left turn, but could you imagine if like sending nudes were a thing back then?
Oh man, I mean they kind of were. Just it was like film.
That would have been wild.
Yeah, like literally.
I'm saying like
birthday.
online where they're doing like the pen pal thing.
Oh right.
Heavy.
Yeah. Like letters back and forth.
Take that.
Oh yeah, no, they was definitely they was.
You've got mail.
Yeah, no. Or even back in the day even back in the day when they were sending them bitches in
the
prison.
dial-up is taking way longer to download this picture. I don't know what it is.
AOL's taking a long time tonight. I don't know what's going on. Oh, a penis. You know,
Did they even have like digital cameras back then like that? Not really, but if they did, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even back in the old days with the putting them in pigeons and shit, you know, they sometimes the pigeon they carrying a heavy load. A couple of nights, it's a lot of wing flapping some nights. Chirp, chirp. Okay,
what kind of podcast?
The old school, them old school tweets, them old school DMs. Okay, tweets take to a whole new level.
That's a fact. But yeah, that's all. While watching this, that's all I was doing was analyzing. Like, dang, if this was today,
oh god,
how would this?
How to be
because it gave me some nostalgia from my AOL Instant Messenger.
Yeah, for sure.
Like entering into chat rooms.
Remember the AIM days? Oh my gosh,
entering into chat rooms. But then I'm like, dang, if this were to happen today, where would this go? And then I immediately thought Clubhouse, and like what I just said, if this would happen today, it would completely go left.
Yeah. And
Clubhouse was like of course you could find, like, if you went into the right rooms, you could find great content.
You can make a rom-com just called Clubhouse.
Yeah, you can make a great. You can have great
totally
content.
make a film based off of Clubhouse.
But then a lot of those rooms were like, all right, it's getting kind of wild in
here.
here.
It's getting wild in this motherfucker. Oh, they're moaning. I'm going to exit stage left. I'm going to leave because I'm scared. But
yeah, hearing dial-up again.
Yeah, right.
Was
exactly.
Like, and just like
super weird.
Imagine like today you can open your phone in an instant. You have access to almost everyone. Like yes. Even going on Instagram, like, all right, pictures are up. You could DM them or whatever.
Yeah.
Like they're like, all right. Especially like this is before texting too. So email was brand new.
Email was huge. Yeah.
You're excited. Like, all right, am I gonna have an email? I remember I first got an email. I wasn't getting emails that I did. I was like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah,
like, I have an email. Someone talking to me.
Email.
But yeah, like just the anticipation of waiting the 90 seconds it took for the internet to connect, and then you got mail, and then you open it up. That was kind of nostalgic.
Bro, I can't remember the movie. It was a funny line. I think it was in Hitch where she says there's like 90 different ways for you to get rejected. Like in today's world, because you check all these different platforms to see if this person, and this is Hitch, so I think she said like MySpace, email, pager, voicemail of her house phone, voicemail of her cell phone. She checked all these different like places, and the guy still didn't like respond. I was like, imagine being ghosted back then and not knowing that you were ghosted.
Right.
That'd be true. Like, it's been 2 days. They usually hit me up by 2 days. Give me 2 more weeks. And then by that time, you're like, I don't even forgot about this person.
Yeah.
It's probably way easier to get ghosted back then. Or like,
for sure.
It didn't hurt as much.
Yeah, I was like, they probably accepted rejection a lot better.
Yeah, for sure.
Back then. Because nowadays, they'll ghost you and then like...
Yeah, because it's like if someone doesn't show up, you have a date. There's only landlines. You call them like, all right, we'll see you there. If they don't show up, you don't know what happened to them. Right. They died.
Right.
if they didn't show up.
Yeah, you gotta wait days to even figure it out. Nowadays, like a date could not show up, and then you be like, "All right, what's going on?" Then they post like a thirst trap online with the caption was "Keep niggas waiting."
Yeah.
Keep niggas
I'm playing games.
Not playing games. Hot girl summer's return.
Bing. Checkmate.
Yeah, niggas. I'm back in these streets. It's where I belong.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I got my knees out in the bubble bath in the candle.
Yeah, that's right. Lavender. That's what I smell like.
Yeah, but I think that's also why I like rom-coms. Like I analyze what would happen today and then what would I do in these situations. And some of them might end up, well, there would have been no happily ever after for me.
Yeah.
Or I'd be like, mate, you know what? I might have made that like decision.
Yeah, because you can like put yourself in their shoes. And
yeah.
It's really good genre for doing that. Because a lot of times you're like, not for Gabe. I don't think I'm Jason Statham. Not going to be kicking people in a suit driving fast cars. Gabe's like, I can see myself. But it's just like anyone could be in those kinds of situations. I think it'd be funny to do a throwback, like a period piece rom-com. Almost similar like You've Got Mail, but just do it from like our mindset that we have now and how you like remember it rather than.
I feel like it ended up being like a sketch. Anytime we think about older stuff, we just it ends up becoming hilarious.
Yeah,
like the stuff that we had to.
It'll be pretty funny.
You know, what I think in there if they partnered up, could write a lit like a black rom-com. Carmichael and Michael Shea.
Oh man,
the guy from the Carmichael show.
Yeah,
Michael Shea.
Did you guys see the Michael Shea show yet on HBO Max?
I saw the first episode. It was
it is amazing.
Yeah.
I watched it 3 times.
Really?
I watched the entire thing 3 times.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
Like if you guys haven't watched Michael Shea show on HBO Max, definitely do it. It's perfect.
Yeah, no, he's great.
So funny.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
But they have that brand of comedy that's like we don't have to emphasize our blackness to make this funny. So and then like even if you watch the Carmichael show, this was like normal topics that they were addressing.
Yeah,
that's in every household.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
These people just happen to be black.
I'm still hot about that. Like that show was. It was something building.
But you know why he couldn't continue.
There was a whole controversy with one of the episodes, right?
No.
What?
How is he gonna pay? This was before these people were known like this. How could this show pay Tiffany Haddish and Lil Rel now?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they could have still wrote that. I mean, because it wasn't for a little while. It wasn't for like maybe 2-3 years until Tiffany like kind of popped off. Lil Rel kind of popped off.
But the show didn't even really get popular until they put it on Netflix.
True. And
then they came back with another season, and he was in a Breakfast Club. They asked him about it. He was like, "Yeah, this is gonna be our last season." And he was like, "What? Why is it your last season? We love the show." He was like, "Yeah, I mean, Tiffany and Lil Rel are kind of bigger than the show now.
Yeah,
I'm not into like holding them back."
Right.
He's like, he was like, career wise, it just doesn't make any sense for them to keep doing the show.
Right.
And it was like, "Yeah, you're kind of right." It was like. But yeah, I could 100% see him and like Mike, if both of them were to get together and write like a rom-com, it would be lit.
I think
it could be from a black perspective, but not to focus heavily on them being
black.
Being black.
You have to make it in your face. I'm black.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because I started thinking about Good Deeds. It's a Tyler Perry movie, and I guess you could say it's like a romantic drama, but literally one of her lines is, "I'm a black woman. What do you expect?"
What do you expect?
Sounds like Tyler Perry to me.
But so I'm like, yo, we emphasize so much on this. Like, don't get me wrong, I do think we need those types of films
for sure.
Yeah.
But then I'm also like, could we get some?
We just need more nuance. Like it's like you could say that without saying that.
We don't need black cinema to be a niche.
Yeah, exactly.
We can just have cinema and have black people in it.
Exactly. Like there's no need. It's like we know you're a black woman, and we know there's certain things that come with you being a black woman. It's like it's much more impactful
one of your
to show
favorite
it than tell it.
performances.
Exactly.
that we've covered on here from. What's that Will Smith movie? Enemy of the State. Regina King never says she's a black woman.
She's never said in any film ever.
It's
like,
clear.
I'm a black woman. This is what I'm gonna do.
No one's confused.
No, she's just gonna be a black woman, and that's what it is. And that's what just like brings like. That's why she's an Academy Award winning artist, because she's just is. There's no need to like play a character. It's like, I'm imbuing this with my own shit, and it happens to be of a black woman. Like, so this is what I'm gonna do.
And so there is a line as to where like that, like not doing that becomes annoying. Like meaning like where they feel the need to accentuate like whatever the topic is. It could be, hey, this is a black film, and they're like leaning into like, we're gonna accentuate that this is a black film,
right? Or you're
like,
a black
and
character.
I'm not talking about like, hey, it's a cookout. Hey, it's grandma and them in the kitchen cooking, playing music. Like that's just normal stuff to me.
Right.
But I'm talking about like, we're gonna go out our way to let you know that this is a black family, this is a black film. Like sometimes that becomes annoying, and they do it. That was my grievance with Harriet.
Yeah, you said yeah.
Like,
I didn't see that.
There's no reason for you to have to tell me in the movie that this is about women empowerment. It's a movie on Harriet Tubman.
Yeah. Oof. How was that film? What did you think of that?
I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I think
there's some good parts.
There are good parts. I even enjoyed the performance of the lady who played Harriet Tubman. But the story, like I hated. They had like there's one even Janelle Monáe did a good job. But what like parts of the story I just didn't like. They would go into monologues, and one part is like Harriet just becomes free and she gets to Philadelphia, and there's this house where this lady is taking in people who are newly free, but it's owned by a black woman. And so a lot of the slaves are shocked that she owns this like multiple story house with all these rooms that she's housing. So she gets there, and Janelle Monáe's character is the one who owns it, and she's kind of making fun of like she gives a little jab joke at Harriet for smelling. Mind you, she just ran here from slavery.
From 4 or 5 states away.
Yeah, and she literally like had to sleep in a haystack and different stuff to even get here from slavery. And so she makes a joke about it. And Harriet is kind of like telling her like, I apologize, but I didn't ask for this to be the situation. But she does it by way of like a monologue. And when she breaks into this monologue, she gets up, and it's almost like a play. Like, you know how at a play, sometimes they'll walk to the front of the stage. It's dramatic light, and they look out into the audience, and they're talking. But she's doing that type of vibe, but it's a movie. So Janelle Monáe's character is in the back, like damn near a statue.
Yeah.
While she's doing this.
Yeah, that's so corny. Well, it's because the thing is, Cynthia Erivo, she comes from stage, so she's like a Broadway type of vibe, and that's what they do on stage a lot. They'll have like they'll just stand there and like do their song or do their thing, and then like all the other characters kind of just.
But I think those were written into the script.
Yeah, they probably played it out like that.
I think it was written into the script because it happens multiple times. Yeah. There's a scene where like I'm like, yo, they had an opportunity to kill this scene where they're getting to the part where Harriet is gonna lead in all these troops to help free the slaves. And she's like the only woman to at that time to ever, well, she wasn't even in the military, and she was leading in like 700 troops to go free slaves. And I'm like, yo, this is an opportunity for them to give us like, I can't think of one where it's a woman giving that like the coach empowerment speech.
Yeah.
Let's psych them up for war speech. Let's fire them up. Like this is their opportunity to nail that, but it being with a woman. And they decide to make it a monologue about women empowerment.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? That makes no sense. She's literally.
You can have.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like
she could perform that rather than it be like a performative act.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing. It comes down to authenticity. And that's the thing, the issue that I have with Cynthia Erivo in her films. She's just like, and I don't like when you're doing characters that are based in America, particularly in that case, Southern America, and you get a British actor to try and like play that. That's why I was just looking up I watched the miniseries that LeBron produced with Octavia Spencer about Madam C.J. Walker. Mm-hmm. Completely different experience.
But it was
because it's Octavia Spencer coming from a place of familiarity. You know what I'm saying? And again, imbuing the character with her life experiences, with all that she knows about, you know, being a Black woman, and taking it back in that time and using that to, you know, tell the story. With Harriet, it's like she doesn't necessarily have the, you know, the background and the, you know, the experiences lived to really tell the story properly. So when it comes to like a rom-com, when it comes to, you know, more, you know, when you're bringing more levity into stuff, you need, like, again, authenticity. You need like the real, you know, experience told to you rather than a performance, you know, to make it impactful.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree, but I don't necessarily, again, I said I liked her performance. Mm-hmm. I think the issues that I had, it was clearly written into the script for them to upsell the idea of this film being about women empowerment. Right. Like, it's like, I say this all the time, like when you watch the Avengers Endgame, and there's the scene where like all the women happen to be standing in a line in height order. Right. There's no one else who's available at this moment can save them. And it was like, and all the women are like,
we can
don't
help.
worry, we can do this. We're strong enough to do this. We're women. It's like,
girls can do anything.
Yeah, I'm like, yo,
just do it.
I get what you're saying, but like, there's like bombs going off around you right now. Like, y'all got time.
They make it more like,
y'all got time for this. Yeah,
like,
you got time to have this speech.
If you were reading the comic book, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
With actual poses and like no one would actually like be lined up like that. And so they try and make it like the experience as if you were reading a comic book. And so, because often, you know, the majority of the fans, believe it or not, of like superhero stuff, they have not opened up a single comic book. You know what I'm saying? They might have watched shows, they might, you know characters or actors that they're fans of, but like a lot of them don't know the stuff. So like, yeah, that's interesting though. It's like, yeah, it's true though. It's like, you know, that wouldn't happen. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like those like type of cheesy lines like that. Yeah. That's what like, I don't get, like, I say this all the time. It's a superhero movie. We know what the superhero movie is about. This person is here to save the world. Point blank, period.
Right.
We've watched an hour and a half long movie to see you save the world. Yeah. You know the last thing we need you to tell us at the end of the movie? I'm here to save the world. We know. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's,
people are dying.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, why do you need to accentuate that by saying it? Right. And that's my issue with a lot of those types of movies. And when people do, like, they make it could be a heavily Black cast, but they're gonna tell you 20 times in that movie we're a Black cast, right? And it's like, yo, we saw that from the thumbnail, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'm 100% with us having movies that's super pro-Black, but can we also have some that's like, we want, if this idea is like normalizing Black experience, normalizing Black people having the same experiences as everyone else, normalizing, like, could we have just a normal Black family, right? Just doing normal family things that every family is going to experience. Every family experiences a teenager who is off the rails. Every family experiences, like, parents arguing about something small. Every family, like, these are all normal experiences that you see in these rom-coms. That's just like, it's just a normal thing that they've made into a whole movie. Yeah. And it just happens to be funny.
So that, if going back to rom-coms, that's also why I don't think I have a hard time going to watch them, but I have to be deliberate, like, okay, I'm gonna watch this to watch them, and then most of the time I'm like pleasantly surprised. Like with this one, you've got me. I don't know if I ever would have watched it if we didn't like select it. I may have like, oh, okay, this looks like it's interesting or has good reviews or something. But after watching this one, I was like, okay, I'm glad I watched it. It was a good movie. Like, it gives you the movie fullness that I think I may have coined that term, but that movie fullness. That movie fullness, or you feel full after the movie.
Yeah. Mullness.
Yeah, I just watched Mullness. I just watched the movie. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, this film is definitely it's great commentary on just like relations, like and just the dynamics between men and women in the digital age, like especially as it's growing and changing. Digital age. Yeah, and just like even going back to that time period, it's just so crazy how quickly things have developed and how relationships have changed as a result. And so, yeah, I'd love to see a modern retelling of this in a way, which I feel like we've kind of gotten. We've kind of gotten films that have included like, cyber dating, or e-dating or whatever. I forget what the term is, but yeah, I think it's e-dating. But yeah, I'd love to see like specifically with this one with You Got Mail, just like kind of wrapping in like, I love the competition aspect. I love, the built-in relationship already. And then kind of like flipping a little bit with the romance. And so, yeah, this definitely deserves a retelling, and maybe with some Black folks, who knows?
Mm-hmm. Definitely would recommend. Mm-hmm. But I think a movie that it kind of seems like we're talking, or like this movie fills the void, or is an example of what we're talking about with like regular Black stories. The Photograph. Yeah. I know you've seen that, right? Mm-hmm. That's a good one, or a good example of that too, where it's just like they're Black characters, but it's not like, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. This could literally be anyone.
Happen to anyone.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Most definitely. Yeah.
And there were two Black people in good standing by themselves. It wasn't like one
was in the pits and the other one was dragging them out from the other side of the track.
It's always that.
Yeah, it's always that. Yeah, always.
So check out The Photograph too, guys, if you haven't seen it.
Most def.
But yeah, rewatchability. I would rewatch this.
Yeah, for sure. This is like one of those FX. Again, I love.
You love FX.
Those FX Saturday afternoon, because it really be those movies.
Clearly, that's his favorite network.
It's like, but really, that's how I peeped a lot of films. Like Saturday afternoons, I'm just chilling. I'm flicking through the channels. If the Harry Potter marathon's not on, you know what I mean?
What are you gonna do?
You know what I mean? I gotta find some of the shit.
Gosh, that would be a lit shirt for you.
What?
FX me.
FX me, dead ass. Please FX me, because
but that could be read other ways.
Yes,
F me, F me with your head. I don't know.
FX, yeah, you like
FX, yeah, I really do. But yeah, no, it would come. Yeah, I mean FX or
FX has the movies Bravo, like that was it.
Like Bravo plays a lot of rom-coms, or did play a lot of rom-coms. ABC Family type shit, Yeah. The good old channel surfing days when there was stuff to watch. For real.
What do you rate it?
I'll give it a nice little 8 out of 10. Fun little, it's a classic rom-com. Hanks is great. And, this is one of those classic on-screen relationships, couples. So, it was a fun time.
I go 8 as well.
8? Yeah. I'm 7.5.
Yeah. Good time.
AJ does not like love.
I don't like love. No, I do. It's cool. It's just like, I don't know. Like, I could probably give it an 8, but
he said
it's a 70.
He's like, 7.5. Whatever.
Smells like happiness.
Yeah, it's adorable or whatever.
I'm the Grinch. My heart was the
gold Grinch.
2 sizes too small. The gold Grinch.
That's funny.
Oh shit! Oh, we love it. Yeah, that was cool.
With that, it's been another episode of What We Watching.
Pew, pew, pew. Oh, come back.
Peace.